So I was not originally planning on doing a video on these little figures. I mean, most of you already know how I feel about them and my secret addiction. However, I felt like it was time to formally review these things as nobody else has done it. I will cover a couple things about these Amiibo in my review. I will judge every individual figure on their design, their usage, and I will note some things I desire for each Amiibo in the future. Well, this is going to be a long one, so let's get to reviewing these Amiibo. To start off, I'm going to cover all the things these Amiibo can do from today until the end of February 2015. All Amiibos can be used in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U as a fighter that you can train up yourself or with the CPU's help. Honestly, I did not really use this feature as its intended purpose of having your own customizable character fighting alongside you. Instead, I used it to farm custom moves, gold, equipment, and trophies. The feature in and of itself is not that interesting. Sure, I could not think of a better use for these figurines, but if you are buying Amiibo for this purpose and this purpose alone, prepare to be disappointed. Other than that, you can use Amiibo as a costume for your Mii in Mario Kart 8 and for Treasure in Hyrule Warriors. That's it for most Amiibo at the moment. However, the Kirby Amiibo can be used as something in Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, but I cannot find out what that feature actually was, and from what I have seen gameplay wise, the Amiibo functionality is pretty minimal. This can be said for all Amiibo in general. Their uses in games are pretty small, and if you have the mindset of buying these things as a tool for additional content in your games, don't expect anything fancy. For the price of a single Amiibo, Nintendo thus far has not given us enough to do with the Amiibo at this time, making it more of an investment than a purchase, especially considering how many there are and how many they plan to make. Not to mention the huge price for limited edition Amiibo like Marth and the Villager that are selling for $40+ on the internet. Now onto the quality of each figure, and I will be doing a lightning round for this sort of thing, since I'm not a rater of figurines. I will be giving you the average descriptions and gripes of each and every Wave 1 and Wave 2 Amiibo, starting now. Mario. The fine detail and light colors are great for this Amiibo, and the fireball is an excellent touch. Plus, there are no hideous stands or defects with his face. Link. His face looks kinda mediocre, and his repulsive yellow stands out too much, and makes this one of my least favorite Amiibo. The tunic, the Master Sword, and the Hylian shield details are pretty nice though. Peach. Honestly, I really like this figure. The details on the dress are really well done, and her face is not half bad. Yoshi. If it weren't for the noticeable black edges around the limbs and such, this Amiibo would be perfect, but the overall look of Yoshi is still great. Kirby. Perhaps it's because he's so simple, but Kirby looks like the best figure out of all the Amiibo. Donkey Kong. Some of the fur details are kind of ruined by being mass-produced, but he looks decent nonetheless. Pikachu. Once again, the simplistic design makes this figure a great pick to have on your shelf. Fox. Another surprisingly great looking Amiibo. The details on his face look superb, and his fur decal is quite nice. Samus Aran. I don't know why she stands so lopsided, but this is still a decent Amiibo. Some details like the helmet and feet look a tad bizarre, but it is nothing that makes me not want to display it. Villager. The Holy Trinity Amiibos are by far the rarest ones, and this Amiibo looks great. Its cartoonish, simplistic design makes this Amiibo another one of my favorites. Marth. His face is poorly done, but the rest of the figure looks great, and his design wielding one sword is actually kind of cool. Wii Fit Trainer. Design-wise, it is great, but the plethora of inappropriate Amiibo pictures I've seen with this figure make me shudder at the sight of it. Zelda. Perhaps the best looking humanoid Amiibo figure out there. Its details are stunning, and its face looks quite nice. Little Mac. Another great humanoid Amiibo, and its pose is fitting. The details on its muscles are also quite nice. Diddy Kong. One of my favorite Amiibos out of them all. I really like its design, but the yellow stand kind of ruins the Amiibo's look, to be honest. Luigi. Its pose is a tad strange, but it looks really good. Pit. The one Amiibo I do not own, so I cannot assess it fairly. From what I have seen, it looks decent, and the wings actually look great. Captain Falcon. The booty really sells it for me, but other than that, I really like the Amiibo's design. Its muscles and additional features are quite good. Overall, the Amiibo look decent, and for the price, they look fairly good. All this being said though, why are people like me so addicted to collecting every single one of these? It is simple. They are collector's items. They are Nintendo figures, and no matter what the use is, people will want them. There is something about us humans that influences us to collect these things, even though they are essentially useless. I mean, if I see an Amiibo that I do not own in stores, I immediately buy it. Why? Because I'm a huge Nintendo nerd, and I'm absolutely positive there are many more out there like me who can't stop buying these things. There's just something about owning having figures of characters I grew up with that excites me. I barely use them, but I display them on a shelf, and I think this is something I have yearned for a long time. Perhaps that is just me, but for that reason and that reason alone, I love these Amiibo. And I think if you're a collector, then you should buy a couple of them. $12.99 is pretty cheap when compared to other video game figure toys like Skylanders, and honestly, if you're willing to invest your money into an Amiibo for their gameplay purposes, Nintendo may just deliver on an Amiibo themed game. The quality of most Amiibos are satisfactory, with some exceptions, but that feel when you open an Amiibo as a Nintendo fan is great. Right now I see these figures as more of collectibles than gameplay content, and if you're into that, then these Amiibos are just right for you. I cannot really give these a score as I have no clue how I would base numbers on collectibles, but I will simply say that these things are not worth your money from a gameplay perspective, but I would recommend them to you if you are in any way a collector or a huge Nintendo fan like me. And that's going to do it for my review of these little figures. And let me know in the comments below how you feel about these Amiibo and if you're really enjoying yours. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to never miss one of my newest videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching and take care. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.